See, when I'm always trying to escape the torture, I always come to the mountain, you know. And guess what I find? A gang of stalkers over here too. So anyways, directed energy weapons is, they have been torturing me for the past 2 days with it, or just not 2 days. The past few days with it, you know, so severely. So I had to just like, you know, go somewhere just to escape this shit, you know. But anyways, so today since morning, the evil fucking pricks send a police officer to just like, you know, keep walking in front of me, intimidating me, you know, as I'm not supposed to be talking. That's of course part of it. That's just one part of it, you know. Apart from that, keep the police just trying to intimidate me in the morning and all of that fucking bullshit. But anyways, so after I walk past her, the police officer, the directed energy weapon starts so horrendously, you know. Just usually to remind me for what they have done to my family members, you know, one way or another. Try to it's like they attack the thoughts basically, you know. And of course after that, now you see, they're just trying to traumatize me, you know, or to just like, you know, keep me traumatized, you know. So yeah, so they're just trying to remind me what they have done to my own family members, which was so evil, even like the even word evil, you know. It's not enough for what has they done to my own family members. So anyways, so it just kept reminding me of that shit, and you know, keep torturing me basically. So I had a police, then the thought storagers attack by directed energy weapons. Then one time in here I got beaten up by one guy of the snitches of the Mauritian police, you know. So suddenly out of nowhere he just appears in my way, the same guy that has beaten me, you know, in somewhere here in Mauritius, which was in a different city, totally different city, you know. So they just like, you know, keep me traumatized. So anyways, that has happened today. Yesterday, when I have been so severely tortured, I'm planning to travel to Iran first, and then if things didn't work out in Iran, I have to travel to Russia. If not, I have to travel to North Korea, you know, just to escape the torture and humiliation and harassment, and instead of just like, you know, hurting somebody or hurting myself in the process, you know. So yeah, when I was like trying to just see the flights to Iran and stuff like that, suddenly out of nowhere someone on Reddit, he starts to tell me that he's from Iran and he has the same, like he's been tortured by gang stalking and directed energy weapons in Iran. And I was like, okay, well then Iran is infected, you know. Then suddenly another guy talking to him on Facebook, he starts telling me that he was in Russia and he was being gang stalked too in the Russian borders. And I was like, okay, so you actually telling me that Iran is infected, I cannot travel to Iran. Russia is infected, I cannot travel to Russia. Then I only have North Korea left to travel to, you know. But of course, you know, if you think about the strategy of the Norwegian police, which I have been like, you know, I have been in this shit for 8 years. So their strategy is always like, try to attack the strategy of the opponent and not just attacking him only, So if I do have a strategy to travel to Iran, they will just just try to show me that Iran is not the place to travel to, because I will be stuck and harassed by directed energy weapons torture. That's one thing. Even Russia, same thing, only North Korea left, or that's what they want me to travel to, basically. If you close the first door and second door, then the person will, choose the third door, because this is the only option left. So they just trying to get at my hopes, get at my on my plans to escape, or plans to just, leave this fucking bullshit. They are just, when they're trying to make somebody hopeless and take the option that you want, well, you have to just close all the doors in his face, and that's what they're basically doing. But anyways, let me tell you just a little story, just to know who I'm dealing with. There was this lady who has been in Norway, and she applied for asylum. She was Iranian. The Norwegian police and the Norwegian government refused to grant her asylum, because they thought that she's lying or something, Then they sent her back to Iran, and in Iran she got an 80 lash, whiplash, serious shit. Then the woman just took pictures and put it on the internet, so that the Norwegian government will see that shit, because they thought that she was lying, but she wasn't lying. She got an 80 whiplash, So they forced her to travel to a place where she will be tortured. Now, that's one thing, of course. Now, for my own situation, now look at it. I'm being tortured, harassed, out of every country that I went to. In the first world country, second world countries, third world countries. The three, I have been to all of them. And I get harassed and tortured in every single one of them. So that leaves me to places in the world where there is a danger for my life. There is a real danger in my life, But it's either you have to take the risk, or you just will be suffering, So what's it gonna be? Take the risk, or just stay there and be suffering, Basically, they cut me off work, they torture me, they torture my family members, they pushed me to suicide once, they was trying to kill me 2 times for the past week, or 3 times. I had a gun pointed at my face, I got family members tortured in front of my eyes, that's torture, that's, So that forces me to leave this country and leave Norway and leave Egypt and travel to a fucking other country, which there will be a risk for my life. I know that. That's for sure. But again, what's my options? Do I have options? I have been tortured like this. For the past 2 years, I've been severely tortured. For the 6 years before that, I have been tortured and harassed and been in isolation, and I didn't know what's the reason for it. But now, of course, I do know, So, yeah, 8 years of torture. I have been suffering of this torture for so long now, So yeah, what that leaves me with, what's the options, There's no options other than take the risk, and that's what I'm planning to do. I will take the risk, but I just want to let the world know that the Norwegian police is the one who forces me to take a risk that wasn't supposed to be taken from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it's because of the Norwegian police I had to take risks that has put my life in danger, that will put my family members' life in danger, that will put everybody I love and everybody that I care for in danger, just because of the Norwegian police. So the ones who is responsible in here, if anything, you could call it Corona, you could call it like the Iranian doesn't like Christians, maybe. You never know, you know. You never know what will happen there. But all what I'm saying is that since they are deliberately, I don't know, deliberately, since they are deliberately putting my own life in danger, and already like I'm being tortured and suffering, you know, so I have to take risks that I shouldn't be taking. But I'm being forced to take such risks. You understand? So that if something happened to me, well, at least, at the very fucking least, just hold the Norwegian police accountable. You know, okay, well, if I die, well, okay, well, everybody, you know, is just gonna die one way or another, you know. But they are the purpose for my death. You know, they are the reason for it. If something happened, for me personally, I wouldn't just go and commit suicide or just stuff like that. You know, I'm trying to survive. I'm just fighting for survival, basically. So it's not gonna be me who doing things, one thing or another to myself. But if anything happens, it's the Norwegian police, and that's the Norwegian government, and their money, and their electronic technology, and you know, that's what was the case in here. Okay, so yeah, they are just forcing me to take risks that I shouldn't be taking. I'm not supposed to take such risks, you know. I am not supposed to be taking such risk, but I do have to take such a risk because I am being tortured, I'm being humiliated, I'm being harassed, I'm being cut off of work, job, study, every fucking thing in the world. I am being cut it off, you know. Even when I do have a chance to study on the internet, they have to, you know, make the teacher or the students in the place to just start to harass me, you know. One way or another, they just do somehow to harass me, you know. So this is not a fucking life to be tortured, you know. So yeah, so just I want people to know that I am taking such risk on, you know, on as I'm reacting to what's happening to me. You know, I am not just taking risk just for the sake of taking the risk, you know. So it's not just for the sake of taking risk. So yeah, I will end up there. I will end up in Iran or Russia. I will do end up there. So hopefully everything will be alright. And if things go wrong, well, I will make sure that my identity will be known to people too, though. If I feel like, okay, well, that's it, you know. I will let my identity be known so that everybody knows what's up and who I am and why this has happened. Or I just, how I did end up dead one way or another, you know. So, yeah, if anything happens, you know the offenders. Right.